That's okay. And they also wouldn't know that they are in the way. What's the other part?
They also didn't know that they were on the right track.
Yeah. Guys, no one's ever been there. Well, that one guy had been there before, the one who wrote the first thing. But, like, he's not here to help them. So how do you know where to go? Would Miss Cooper right now, like, if she was there with them, would she have been able to go, like, I think this is wrong? I think we're on the right track. Or rather say, oh, I don't think this rock matches. We should turn around and go left. Would you know to say that, Miss Cooper? Probably not. Right? And so, like, this is a crucial moment that if we were not there with the professor, you weren't there with the professor, I don't know how much longer we're going to survive. So we could have died without the water. We might have died if we got lost in there. And definitely from this part, you can also see his encouragement. So this quote has both things. It has his knowledge, how it helps them survive, and it actually shows that he's encouraging. So I need you to get back to your work right now, and you have the next 6 minutes to make your work stronger by adding specific quotes from the text, but not just any quote. I want to see quotes that really prove that without Hans, without the professor, these guys would be doomed. On that note, I also want to say that Ms. Jarvis is making me the happiest person in the world right now by telling me that 6B has really been on it in terms of chats today, being active participants. Thanks for sharing that, Ms. Jarvis. I miss them so, so much. Take your time, look through the book. Find the right piece of evidence. Don't just pick whatever evidence to get this out of the way. That's literally your only job right now. If you do make changes, which you need to do, highlight them, please. Eduardo, I really like to see how many changes you're making. I want you to focus on finding specific pieces of evidence that are not just in your own words. Remember the exercise we did about Miss Jarvis and Miss Scooper. If whatever skill you're giving me is going to be just skills that the two of them have, it's not enough. You go to the center of the earth with Miss Cooper and Miss Jarvis, and as someone said, and I can't remember, if it's not going to be for luck, your guys are not making it out alive. So if you're just telling me that they can heal or make Axel feel better, Miss Cooper and Miss Jarvis can do that. What makes Hans and the professor particularly talented to be the ones leading this expedition? Focus on the right talent. Because I really don't know what your exit ticket's talking about, because it's not talking about what both of these people are bringing to the table in terms of their talents. I am not sure, guys, why I'm seeing Axel so many times in your exit tickets. I don't want Axel. The question's not about Axel. It's about Hans and Professor. Right, this final draft of your exit ticket is what's going to be counted as your grade. If you choose not to do it correctly, if you choose to not fix it, that's your call on your grade. You always have 7 days to revise it and email us if you need to, but really, this is it. You had a lot of time in class today to think through an entire exit ticket.
And we will be looking through. I know for me at least, I'm going to be looking through these tomorrow. So whatever you have tomorrow morning when I sit down and start going through them is what will be graded and what will be put in pupil tab. So that's, if you're okay with having nothing written and getting a 0, that's totally fine with me. But this is up to you if you want to complete it.
Yep, you can, Zach. All right. Good luck. Good luck to those of you who are traveling to the center of the earth with Miss Jarvis and Miss Cooper. It was great knowing you, but hope you can find Hans and the professor with many more talents. Bye, guys.
Recording has stopped.
class is over. What is Chloe looking for? Which one? Just wondered. She might have been using your phone. I don't know.
Chloe, what does it look like? So then do you have her charger?
I have a Switch charger. It does not look like that.
sing it. All right. Happy birthday to Israel. Can't pronounce the last name, but excellent musician, great song.
Recording has started.
All right, welcome everybody. Please open up your do now for today. It is going to be on the reading for last night on the second middle passage. You can open up your homework reading and your do now, and you will have 5 minutes.
Celine, sit down and stop moving. There are way too many cameras still off. Just with my screen, Aya, Zach, Noah, ask those who need to turn your cameras on. Isaiah, or you will be losing your participation.
that's a slick way to not participate in class. That's a mistake. Okay, so that is a timer for your do now. Take the last couple of seconds to make sure it's submitted. All of the attendees, if you are an attendee, you have received an invitation to become a moderator, or not a moderator, but a presenter, so you need to accept that. Okay, so everybody please open up your Unit 7 daily notes.
Yesterday, many students in this class got an off task just because they were not taking notes when Mr. Flack had it screen shared in front of you. Let's not have that happen today. As a reminder, since this is a short week, we're going to be grading your week due daily notes over the weekend after Thursday. So today and tomorrow is your last opportunity to get those notes done in class so you don't get an off task and a lowered classwork grade on your daily notes. London,
Yeah, so yesterday we got about probably 30 people were off task, which means either you didn't do your daily notes or you didn't have shots or main ideas to your documents. This stuff should be pretty simple. This is like the easiest grades you can possibly get in class. You shouldn't be getting off task because you're not paying attention. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. So there's a couple things that we have not filled out yet that I just want to go back and fill out so we're all on the same page. So I realize that we have not been filling out this "Did this make America more or less democratic?" table. So let's start here. Let's go to Shay Hinman. Shay Hinman. So everybody should be at right below our essential question, right below the timeline at the event topic of lessons. Did this make America more or less democratic, and why? So Shay Hinman, did the Missouri Compromise make America more or less democratic, and why?
I think it didn't because many people were basically fighting over if Missouri should become a slave state, and that basically separated the country again.
Okay, so remember, this unit we're not thinking about unity and division, but we're thinking about democratic versus not democratic. Were more people included in our democracy or not? So with the Missouri Compromise, it did separate the country, but I think also we need to think about the fact that slavery is still very much a massive part of the nation at this time. The Missouri Compromise showed that slavery wasn't going to go away anytime soon. Okay, what about Jackson's presidency? This one is obviously, it's a little bit of both, but did this make America more or less democratic, and why? Let's go to Sophia Graham.
I think that it made America less democratic because Andrew Jackson, well, I say he was less democratic because he was a hypocrite, which means that he told people not to do things, but he did them himself. So. Okay,
so I think that's a little too vague. That's a little bit like of our claim, but we need to get more specific for this answer. So less democratic because Jackson, what did he do? What is his biggest legacy that was not democratic? His biggest legacy from the documents we read in lessons 2 through 4. Let's go to Samira. Absolutely. Okay, and why could we also say that he did make America more democratic? So we can say he made it less democratic because he removed Native Americans, he took away their lands, let them have a voice in the country. But how did Jackson possibly make the country more democratic in some ways? Let's go to Hank.
I think it's also so I think the Dick presidency also made it less democratic because he also I'm pretty sure hired him as the I think I forgot what the guy was doing, but he
So that is true. I'm thinking of there's really two main things that we should know about Jackson's presidency. That's more of a detail. First one is that he removed Native Americans from their home. That was a massive deal, right? Huge deal. The second, that made America less democratic for sure. The second thing he did, and the second kind of cause that he really fought for, made America more democratic. It's really both. What did Jackson fight for that made America more democratic? We can think about document A, example, in our DBQ, with the chart about the election. Think about that. What did he more democratic in? Israel going once. Israel going twice. Hey, let's go to let's.
I don't know if my mic is on.
It's working, yeah.
Wait. Oh, okay. Well, can you repeat the question because I couldn't hear you because my mic was not working.
What did Jackson do to make America more democratic? So we know he did to make it less.
Jackson.
Go ahead.
Document A, he gave people a voice in the government to vote.
Absolutely. More democratic. Because Jackson wanted more people to have a voice in their government. Specifically, common white men. So, less democratic because he removed Native Americans from their homelands. More democratic because he wanted more people to have a voice in their government. He wanted more people to have direct elections of the president. So he wanted the government in that way to reflect what the people wanted more. So he's more complicated than we think. I think a lot of us just automatically say that he was anti-democratic because of any removal, which is definitely massive, stain on his legacy. But I think he also is more complicated in that he also did advocate for some people to have bigger roles. Okay, American Indian removal. So, was American Indian removal, did that make America more or less democratic? And why? Let's go to Jaden Richardson.
So the Indian removal made his presidency less democratic. That they've never seen before. Just because there was some things that he wanted on their land. So that was not democratic, because it was something that really I don't know the word, but it really degraded. That's the word. I think it made people. And they still got kicked out no matter what, just because they're on their land. There was stuff that the Americans wanted.
Yeah, exactly, right? So Native Americans really didn't have any option. Oh, yeah. Don't worry about the end of lessons. Okay.
I want to shout out Almas, Tamana, and Bella Bach for already having their daily notes filled in just as Mr. Flask was. We're going to be checking this throughout the class, so I hope to see everyone doing that.
All right, excellent. So, today, we are focused on this question. How did the cotton economy change American slavery in the 16th century? So, yesterday we were studying American Indian removal, and today we are studying the Second Middle Passage and American slavery in the 19th. So, our main question is, how did it change American slavery? How did cotton change American slavery? So, what do we know from our homework reading? First off, what was the Second Middle Passage? Let's go to Rihanna.
The Second Middle Passage was basically like almost like the first Middle Passage, well, the Middle Passage, but it was more really cruel and brutally destructive, and it was more focused on the focus within the United States instead of the international slave trade, and yeah.
So, what caused the slavery to increase in the United States of America in the 19th century? What caused slavery to increase in the 19th century? There was one specific thing that really caused American slavery to explode this time. So it's a 9.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So in the 19th century, slavery was like really big and expanded in the southern states, because that was when cotton gin was like really big, and so it was at high demand, so everybody wanted cotton or cotton gin, and so that's why they were getting a lot of money for it. plantation owners needed more slaves, so then more cotton could be made, and then they could get more money.
Okay, what is cotton gin? Because you were saying they wanted
Can you give me
cotton
the
gin
chapstick
or
that's in
cotton.
my room?
But that's very vague. What is
It's on the desk.
cotton gin?
I mean the
Let's
TV
go
stand.
to Sienna T.
Cotton gin was basically a material that you could pour onto the cotton, and it would separate the seeds from the cotton. So it made it easier to produce cotton, and more people could do it at a time, and it was just easier for everyone.
Right, so it's, even though it's called cotton gin, you might be thinking like gin like a liquid, like gin like alcohol, but it's not the same thing. Cotton gin was a machine. It's a machine. The cotton gin separated the fiber of cotton from the seeds, so it made harvesting cotton extremely efficient. Suddenly, people went from harvesting 50 to 60 pounds of cotton per day to being able to harvest 1,000 pounds of cotton per day. So this made cotton explode across the South. So the Second Middle Passage brought millions of enslaved African Americans down from the upper South, which is Virginia, North Carolina, down to places like Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi, where the cotton economy really exploded. People were making tons and tons of money because of this new invention, the cotton gin. So, if they suddenly have this new invention, the cotton gin, that makes it so much easier to harvest a ton of cotton, why would that increase the number of enslaved people in the United States of America? Let's go ahead, Jaden. I see you on the camera.
So, one of the jots that I wrote on my text from yesterday, I wrote more slaves equals more cotton, and more cotton equals more money. So the more slaves they have, the more cotton they can get, and the more cotton they can get, the more money they earn.
Exactly. So just like we learned really in Unit 2 when we had our unit on slavery, this is all driven by greed. So exactly like Jaden is saying, more slaves, more cotton, more money. People wanted to make as much money as they possibly could, so the number of enslaved people increased as a result of that. And at this time, because they could get so much cotton out of a single person, they started using more and more enslaved labor to get more and more cotton, and the people who own these plantations got extremely wealthy as a result. Okay, so we're gonna watch a little video on the cotton economy and slavery.
And the principles of the American Revolution, and forever altered black life. The more money the planters made from growing cotton, as the first. To feed King Cotton, more than 1 million African Americans were carried off into the Deep South. That's 2.5 times the number that were brought to the United States from Africa. It was the largest forced migration in American history.
Okay. So, I also want to clarify, right? I need us to remember this, because we will not understand what the second Middle Passage is without understanding what was the first Middle Passage. We recall, what was the Middle Passage, the original Middle Passage? Clovis, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
The first Middle Passage was it was known as international slave trade, and it was when a lot of people from around the world were going to Africa and either trading or stealing Africans so then they could become slaves in their own country.
Right. And so specifically this was the Americas, really. This is the American colony, because this was North America, but also Brazil, the Caribbean. But yeah, the Middle Passage was originally the journey taken by enslaved peoples across the Atlantic Ocean to the Americas. So this is the second Middle Passage, the second great journey of enslaved Africans, in this case enslaved African Americans, traveling from one part of the South to further south. So from Virginia, that area, down to Mississippi, Georgia, Alabama, that area. Going from planting cotton, going from planting tobacco to planting cotton. So we just put up a poll, and we want you all to answer this poll, just for a check for understanding. We have 73 votes in so far.
All of the classes respond.
Excellent.
15 more.
So, good job. So yes, 93% of you got it correct. Cotton gin increased demand for slaves this time because more cotton, the more enslaved people working the land, the more cotton could be produced. They could use the cotton gin to really speed up cotton production. Okay, so let's open up our daily notes and scroll down to lesson 6, King Cotton and American Slavery. Let me share this. Okay. So the first question is, how did the cotton economy affect slavery in the United States? Let's go to Eduardo.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so the cotton economy, it made slavery basically blow up. It increased slavery because they need to farm cotton, And since cotton was such a desired material, they assumed that the easiest way to farm it was through manual labor, which was through slaves.
Exactly. And I like also that just that John, I think it's a very simple way to phrase it that Jaden had earlier, which is more slaves equals more cotton, and more cotton equals more money. So absolutely, cotton made slavery explode, right? Slavery just blew up, became this massive institution in America, and it greatly increased the number of enslaved people in the country. So, more slaves equals more cotton equals more money for the plantation owners and the white people of the country. Okay, so why did a domestic slave trade, domestic means within this country, why did a domestic slave trade or second middle passage develop? Let's go to Samantha Umar.
Samantha, I know your camera doesn't work, but your microphone should be able to work to answer Mr. Flatt's question. So we're going to give you another 5 seconds to respond, and if not, I'm going to speak to you after class.
Okay, let's go to, let's go to Emma Dudek.
Emma is having tech issues. She is not in class.
I'm here.
Oh, you're back
now. So I think that domestic slave trade and the Middle Passage developed since we know that the second Middle Passage developed because since there was more cotton needed, they needed more slaves in order to produce the cotton, so they had to go back and forth and do all of those trades, and the domestic slave trade happened because since they were getting more cotton, they probably also had more money to buy more slaves to produce that cotton.
Okay. Okay, so also, where was this happening? What was the actual journey, the movement? Where were people moving from and to? I think this is important just so we can visualize what this actual Middle Passage looked like. Where were people moving? Let's go to Summer.
The enslaved people were coming from Africa and going from anywhere from Georgia to Texas, they said.
Okay, so this is very important. So they are not at this time coming from Africa. That happened in the past. Right now, the international slave trade, meaning slave trade between Africa and the United States, finished. It was outlawed in 1809. They outlawed the international slave trade. So now there's only the domestic slave trade, which means it's within the country. So within the country, where are people moving between? People are moving from one area of the country to another area. What are those two areas? Let's go to Kylie.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, so where are people moving to? Where are these enslaved people? Where is the second Middle Passage happening physically?
I think it was from upper south, the upper south to the lower south, and it spread from Georgia to Texas.
Exactly. So second Middle Passage was from the upper south. So places like Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, to the lower south. Places like Georgia, Alabama, Texas. So these places in the south, Georgia, Alabama, Texas, they have very, very fertile land. The soil is very, very fertile, which means it's very good for growing crops. So cotton can grow extremely well in these areas. This also, we had a question that said, wait, so were the Native Americans removed again? No, and that is the whole point. Our next question is, how did President Jackson's Indian removal policies affect American slavery in the 19th century? What does Indian removal have to do with this? Excuse me. What does Indian removal have to do with this cotton economy and the second Middle Passage?